How hard is it to break out of prison in reality? This is a prison built in England in the 12th century. Castle-like walls keep the prisoners locked in. But due to the complexity of the interior and the number of dead ends, the guards couldn't keep an eye on the prisoners' every move. This led to a prisoner using a homemade rope to climb down the tower and easily escape over the outer wall. So the engineers decided to build a multi-story wall around the perimeter of the prison and dug a moat to prevent prisoners from escaping. Although this type of prison was very safe at the time. But because all the prisoners were concentrated in a few large rooms, and as the number of prisoners grew, it forced the prison to become larger and larger, and eventually the security was reduced. So engineers decided to redesign the prison structure to isolate the inmates. Before the creation of the surveillance system, it was still difficult to monitor the prisoners' movements, so the engineers put the cells in a circle and placed the guard post in the center. In this way, only one guard could keep an eye on all the prisoners. But as the number of cells continued to increase, neither the width nor the height of the perimeter could be easily managed. So the engineers decided to use a corridor structure, arranging the cells into several long corridors and extend from the center to the outside. This way, hundreds or thousands of prisoners could be supervised with only a small amount of warning, but some clever inmates managed to escape. For example, in 1962, Alcatraz Island, known as the highest security prison of its time. Even though the prison was surrounded by freezing cold water and was inhabited by great white sharks, 3 inmates disappeared. Because the toilets at Alcatraz were flushed with seawater, these 3 inmates spent 3 years smearing the walls with water from the toilets. The concrete absorbs the water and expands like a sponge until it cracks the wall. When the walls became weak, they dug through the cell with a spoon and eventually escaped through the internal plumbing. After this lesson, the engineers decided to upgrade the prison again. Not only did they build it with tighter reinforcing steel, but they added a special additive to the concrete. The walls can withstand a pressure load of over 3,000 tons per square meter. The internal pipes are hidden in the corners of the cells and pass through the hard concrete walls to reach a narrow area called the pipe ducts. And each vertical level is sealed with concrete slabs. This prevents prisoners from escaping through the pipe ducts to the maximum extent possible. The guards are well armed. With the threat of blast shields and sniper rifles, any inmate who tries to escape will walk back to his cell. And the whole prison is full of cameras and surrounded by special fences. Anyone who tries to escape will automatically trigger the searchlight's microwave sensors. And the outside of the fence is covered with sharp, barbed wire mesh. Even if you hold a pair of wire cutters in your hand, the moment you cut the barbed wire, the blades will quickly pop up on the body and barb the skin, making the prisoner unable to move. Meanwhile, to prevent prisoners from stealing tools, they have to be scanned every day. If they find any contraband, it's confiscated. And with the cooperation of dogs, every corner of the prison is searched so that there's no place for contraband to hide. It's with these upgrades that the North Branch Prison, the world's highest security prison, was built. Since its construction in 2007, no inmate has ever escaped.